If you're hesitating before contact, if you're pulling back from tackles, or you're avoiding those physical confrontations on the field, then you might have a confidence problem and not a strength and size problem. Here's how you can build unshakable collision confidence for your rugby. Most rugby players think that they're scared of contact because they're not big enough or they're not strong enough. Wrong. You're scared because you don't trust your body to handle the impact. You don't trust your technique, you don't trust yourself, and that is what is keeping you held back on the bench or getting you hurt as well. Trust me, I used to be that player as well. I absolutely hated the confrontation. But the good news is that you can develop your collision confidence through 4 specific methods. By the way, if you want personalized coaching and programming that is going to help you build that collision confidence, then you can join my program for free for 28 days. And the link will be in the description. Confidence comes from knowing that the techniques that you practice will not only protect you, but they will make you more dominant. Here's how you can build consistent contact technique. Drilling in training is absolutely vital, and there is nothing more specific for a rugby player than tackling another player with ball in hand. So make sure you get the reps in. You can start this with simple drills using a tackle tube or a tackle shield. Focusing on your approach, getting your body in front, making sure your hands are up and ready, stepping into the contact and wrapping with a strong grip. You can progress this through by removing the pads and going into more 1v1 scenarios that are going to be more game related. The same thing goes for your ball carrying ability, approaching the breakdown. There isn't enough time to go through it all, but the message is very, very similar. When you know that your technique is sound, then your fear is going to disappear. You can trust your body to handle the impact because you've done it in training. You've done the reps on reps of tackling, rucking, mauling, ball carrying. You get the drill. Physical preparation creates mental confidence in the contact. Here's how to do it. Simply put, if you can create more force than your opponent in the contact alongside having correct technique, then you are going to win. Maximum strength is key here, and you can do it through compound movements like your squats, deadlifts, bench press, chin-ups, and making sure you're doing them at high, heavy intensities. The rate at which you can produce that force is even better. This is a massive determinant of your rugby playing ability. If you take Ardi Sar there as a really good example, he isn't necessarily the biggest or most physically imposing person when you look at him. However, he is so explosive, he can produce forces at massive rates, which means that he dominates in most of the collisions. Jumps, throws, sprints, Olympic lifts. Make sure you have all elements of explosive training integrated into your program. I know I said size doesn't really matter at the start of the video, but it does help. It creates more momentum the bigger you are, as long as you can control it and as long as you are efficient. Hypertrophy training alongside your maximum strength and power training is going to be really good to build your lean mass, give you more momentum so that you can dominate more in collisions. Physical strength helps you build mental strength. When you know that you are physically prepared, you can walk into those collision situations with great confidence. So make sure you're working on your strength, your power, and your size every single week. This is the secret weapon that most rugby players either don't know or they sideline. It is learning how to manipulate other rugby players through grapple and wrestle training. Learning the technical aspects of body position, using your grips, manipulating balance, and shifting weight of an opponent. This control practice here is of massive transfer to your rugby collisions, but it also enhances your mental strength. You're literally fighting someone one-to-one, and that is amazing exposure to the physical confrontations that you're going to experience in a competitive rugby match. Grapple and wrestle training can do this in a much more controlled and focused manner, which will build you up and not shoot you down. Take these examples as practical applications of wrestle and grapple. The jackal position, for example. Wrestling is going to teach you how to stay stronger over the ball and how to distribute your weight so that you can stay on your feet. In the maul, if you're defending, body manipulation skills are going to let you move through the attackers. If you're in attack in the maul, maybe grips or binds to your teammates. Positioning so that you can hold opponents in place. Tackle completion, your hip position, your grips, the control of the ball carrier. There's going to be so many ways that this will transfer over to rugby. My suggestion here would be to join a local wrestling or judo club, and you could just do a session once per week. It is going to be so good for enhancing your body manipulation skills. I would suggest doing this in the off or the pre-season phases more often, as it will add some element of physical load alongside of your rugby training. Other simple options here that you can do are partner-based drills. You can do hand fighting, maybe some crawl variations, positional wrestling. If you have a teammate, make sure that you're drilling this with them as well. Wrestling and grappling is a prominent feature of pro rugby teams' training weeks. If you learn how to manipulate your opposition, that will give you unstoppable confidence. Physical preparation for rugby means nothing without the right mindset. Here's how to train your brain for collision dominance. Visualization, even just a couple of minutes a day, is massive. See yourself succeeding in your head. Visualize that dominant collision. Positive self-talk. Instead of saying, I hope I make this tackle, or I hope I can get that person down, replace it with, I am going to make this tackle. Try to reframe your fear into excitement. That is your human body saying, I am ready to go out and dominate these collisions. Focusing on commitment. Hesitation is what is causing you that lack in performance, the lack in confidence, maybe getting you hurt or injured as well. So make sure you fully commit to every single collision that you have in a game. Some positive talk that you could give yourself maybe to attack the contact, never receiving it passively. You could be the hammer and not the nail. Trust in your preparation. You've done the work leading into it. Embrace the physical battle. That is why you're playing the game. And you can build your confidence up from the ground. Start small. Every small collision that you win in training, reflect on that. That's a win. If possible, film yourself. Have a look at you winning some collisions. That will give you good reflections and good feedback to move forwards. And celebrate your contact wins. Every time that you are dominant in a collision, make sure you celebrate that. The most physically prepared players without the right mindset are going to lose to the most mentally committed players every single time. So make sure you train your mind and become more unstoppable. Here is your weekly collision confidence training plan. Your week might look like this. You could do 2 weight sessions in the week to build your strength, your power, and your size. You might integrate 1 wrestle or grapple session to develop those body manipulation skills. You'll do daily technique work, 10 minutes of contact drills and body position. You might just be using a tackle tube before training begins with your team. That will help you. And daily visualization, just a couple of minutes seeing yourself dominating contact in a game situation. And to progress this, weeks 1 to 2, you might look at just perfect technique and building your physical capacity. As you move through weeks 3 and 4, we're increasing intensity, we're adding resistance, we're challenging yourself more. And then weeks 5 and onwards, you can test yourself more in training and in games so that you can build more game day confidence over time. So save this video and use it as your roadmap. Remember, collision confidence isn't about being fearless, it is about being properly prepared. If you want all of this laid out for you with a structured program, one-to-one coaching that will keep you accountable, then join my program for free for 28 days. The link is in the description below. Let's start to build some dominating collision confidence.